This program is intended for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the Horror Fried Podcast. That is Michael Combs.
That's Mike Martin.
And that's Keith Clanton.
And I'm sick again. I'm pretty sure this is the third time I've been sick since we've started recording this season.
Well, I mean, shit happens.
Shit happens. So,
With all of that being said, though,
yeah,
you've been a lot of places.
I've been a lot of places. Look, it's a school night. I'm not getting into it right now, okay? So we're just going to get right into it. We're back with episode 7. I have a very important question for y'all.
Okay.
Oh, Lord. Have you ever used your motorized, souped-up wheelchair to outrun a vengeful werewolf who's been picking off townsfolk one at a time?
Nope.
No. I had a friend in school, though.
Oh, shut the hell up. What's his name? Marty.
Donnie.
Donnie?
Yeah.
He had a souped-up wheelchair?
It wasn't souped up, but it was a motorized wheelchair for like 8th grade. That was kind of a big deal.
I mean, yeah, I guess it is. Well, today we're talking about Silver Bullet.
It began in May, and every month after that, whenever the moon was full, it happened again. And again.
What was that? It's over there. Don't point that at me.
Nobody knew who or what was responsible.
Come on.
They only knew it had to be stopped. Now, from the master of mystery and suspense, Stephen King's Silver Bullet. Silver Bullet, the last glimmering hope.
Silver Bullet is a 1985 American horror film based on the 1983 Stephen King novella Cycle of the Werewolf. It stars Gary Busey, Everett McGill, and Corey Haim, and is directed by Dan Attias? Whatever. Based on a screenplay also written by Stephen King. Mike, this was your movie. Had you seen this before? I'm assuming you have.
I have.
Okay. Michael?
Yeah, I've seen it before.
Well, it was a first-time watch for me.
It was kind of on rotation a lot when I was a wee young lad.
Oh, okay. So this was like a common occurrence.
Now, I haven't seen it probably in maybe like 15 years.
Oh, okay.
But
All right. Well, let's get this show going. Michael,
The movie starts with
give me some Dayquil. Just kidding.
The movie starts with a female voiceover who explains that the year is 1976, and right before summer started, that's when the town's long nightmare began.
Ooh. Okay. I want you to mention what you mentioned to me last night about the voiceover actress.
Oh, the voiceover actress is Tova Feltza, who was on The Walking Dead.
She played Deanna at Alexandria when they go to Alexandria for the, and Deanna and her husband are like, I don't know, the rulers of Alexandria.
did I see that season?
Yeah, I think. When they go to Alexandria?
I haven't watched that season, so I remember her.
Well, was it like, was Negan still bad Negan?
Negan wasn't
hadn't
even
been
there.
introduced yet.
Oh. Well, maybe I'm not even thinking about...
Alexandria.
Yeah, the little
The town.
Yeah, that we went to visit in Sonoya.
Yeah. Deanna and her husband were the ones that like ran it.
Okay.
Because remember, her husband, I don't remember what his name was, because she had 2 sons, and her husband gets killed.
Wait, and her son, was it Austin Nichols?
It was one of her sons,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you met him at one of the conventions we went to.
I did.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely didn't even pay attention to who did the voiceover.
We see a guy on a railroad car thingy who takes out a shovel and starts to do a repair and is then attacked and beheaded. It is ruled an accidental death by being hit by a train.
Arnie's his name, right?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it
I
is.
think it's Arnie. I wasn't expecting a beheading like right out the gate, honestly.
I thought it was kind of gnarly.
It was gnarly.
I mean, yeah. And even like showing the head just out on the ground and him laid there, I was like, oh.
yeah, I wasn't expecting that from this, I guess. And a lot of these like 80s Stephen King adaptations, especially the ones that were like for television, like they're just not very graphic. So I was not expecting.
This wasn't for television, though.
No, this one wasn't for. I'm just saying a lot of the ones that were like that's what I was thinking. It was going to be along those lines.
Is this our first Stephen King movie?
Is it?
Maybe.
I think it is. I thought about that while I was watching it, and I was like, I don't think that we've done a Stephen King movie.
Yeah, I don't think we have.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can't think of any Stephen King queer-related movies.
No.
And Southern, most of his shit's up north.
Although I'm wondering where this one takes place, because there's a lot of like
Southern stuff.
Like we haven't met her yet, but little Tammy, when she talked, I was like, "Girl, are you from Tullahoma?" She was country.
The townspeople are going to a picnic parade type thing in Tarker's
Mills.
Tarker's Mills.
Tarker's Mill.
The local Reverend Lowe is talking while we are introduced to the Coslow family. Jane, the older sister, has to watch out for her crippled brother Marty. Jane hears a man and a woman talking.
So you know how they squish that bug? Like that's one of the first things you see is somebody squishing a bug.
Like a cockroach.
Is it Grady? Is it the friend Grady?
Brady.
Brady?
Yeah. Friend Brady.
Brady.
It could be.
But
that was definitely a real bug.
Was that a real bug?
That was definitely a real bug.
Because
PETA
you're not
wasn't
supposed to do that in movies.
PETA wasn't a big thing back in 85.
Because, at the end of it, when the credits were rolling, I was kind of looking for no animals were harmed in the making of this movie, but I didn't see it. So I think that might have been a real bug.
I think it was.
Anyways, that was gross.
But also to our southern point, here we are. This is a very southern type of event happening in a town. We love a small town square and a fair or
whatever it is.
Call it.
I don't know what it is. A get together.
Yeah, it's like
A
because
picnic.
is it not like October-ish?
No.
I thought no, it's spring.
No, it's spring.
It's spring?
The movie says it
76,
starts
right?
right at the end of when school.
Oh my God, you're right. I even wrote it in my notes. Sorry, y'all. It's the Dayquil. Anyway.
That conversation Jane overhears is interesting. Keith and I kind of thought it was her dad, but do you know if it was her dad that was talking to that woman that was pregnant?
Oh, I don't think it was. I think it was just a random.
Oh, you
Just
think it
some
was just a
rando?
random man?
Yeah.
Well, some lady's pregnant. The guy says it's not his, even though I'm guessing it obviously is.
Yeah.
And he wants nothing to do with it. And she's very
I mean, I guess
distraught.
that would make sense as to why he was so adamantly denying if it was a situation like that. But I feel like that would have come up again
Later.
if it was.
And it never does,
her
so
dad.
we couldn't really.
Yeah, and by the time I was really thinking about it, we were too far into it where I was like, well, don't bother going back. Like, if it was him, it'll probably come up again. And it never did, so I'm assuming it wasn't. But for a minute, I was like, wait, is that the kid's dad? Like, I don't know.
It kind of made sense because of how upset he got. Otherwise,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, who cares?
I also like it when, pretty sure this happens before that, when they're playing the little trick on Janie.
With the snake?
Yeah. And then she falls in the muddy
that
water and she
comes
says,
up-
I hate you, you booger. You ever call your sibling a booger?
No.
No, I didn't. No.
I'll tell you what I have called mine, though. Much worse than booger.
Well, yeah, for sure. Behind closed doors where my parents couldn't hear.
Oh, yeah. Or when your parents turned your head, you mouthed, bitch, to your sister. Keith just called me a bitch.
Most of the time it was playing video games with my brother.
Oh.
I don't have those experiences, so.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've heard you say some things about your sister since, though. Since I've known you.
Well, as an adult, yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway.
The family makes it back home, and Jane has to help Marty inside. She tells him their uncle is not coming to visit because he is a chronic drunk.
Well, it is
And
played
Anna's-
by Gary Busey, so...
And on his third divorce, right? Did they talk about that?
Third divorce, yeah.
Yes.
That his wife's leaving him or something. At first, I thought, that's weird that they're carrying his wheelchair in a little, like, trailer, but then they bring one out for him to get in. And I was like, oh, does he have two wheelchairs? But I didn't realize at the time that one was like, special and motorized, and the other one was probably just one they had laying around the house. But it's a big house, so I don't know what Marty's parents do for a living, but I would say they're pretty wealthy. It's a nice little house.
It is.
Would you have been like Janie towards him?
What do you mean?
As far as just like the pissy sister because he did something dirty and you're like calling him a fucking cripple in the car and...
Oh, I wouldn't have... I don't know. I mean, I was a pretty hateful little kid towards... I hated my sister growing up. Like, we would leave hand marks on each other. Like, we got into some brawls. So I probably called her a lot worse than that. But we were always at each other's throats. I used to go to school and my teachers thought I had a cat because she would scratch my neck. My teachers would say, do you have a cat? No, ma'am. It's
Nope.
just my sister.
I just have a sister.
Later that night, Marty comes into Jane's room to give her money to buy new pantyhose. They both apologize and make up.
Which is really sweet. Leaves the money. And then she says, I can get them at the drugstore for $1.49. And then she gives him the money back.
Yep.
Sweet. That definitely wouldn't have happened at my house.
In the Clanton household?
No.
It is a full moon and a storm, and the pregnant lady is upstairs in her home, about to take a bunch of pills to commit suicide while her mom plays the piano downstairs. The werewolf breaks through the upstairs window and kills her while the mom grabs her gun to investigate.
How old would you say this woman is?
I thought the same thing because I was like, I didn't feel like she was
I'd say early 20s, but...
Really?
20.
I got like mid-30s.
I did too. I thought I was surprised to see that her mom was there.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, well, she must be much younger than I thought.
Which I'm not saying, like, there are people in there, maybe...
I mean, who knows? Maybe she's caring for her mother. Like,
yeah, or maybe she's been through a divorce and she's living with her mom now. Like,
Could be.
we don't really know anything about her, but
What
to
a,
me, she did look like she was in maybe her mid-30s.
what a stupid reason to kill yourself, though.
Right. Girl, just go to the...
Clinic.
Or go get a fucking wire hanger and take care of it.
lower?
Oh my God.
Hey, look, this day and age, you're going to have to do what you got to do because, let's be real.
Well, my first thought really was, how is this wolf picking these people off?
Uh-huh.
Because I was like, what is the coincidence or like the likelihood that this wolf just happened upon
Her.
The girl that Jane saw earlier in the movie.
after everything that's happened with her.
Yeah. Well, this is why when this happened to her, I thought, God, maybe it is the dad. Maybe she was having a conversation with Janie and Marty's dad, and this was his way of taking care of the problem.
Well,
But again, it never comes up, so I don't know if that was the dad or not. But that was a really gnarly attack.
Yes.
Like, just the scratches, and he was very aggressive. It was, again, not what I would have expected.
nope, she got tore up.
And was gone by the time the mom got up there, right?
Yep.
Because she just found
Well,
her on the bed.
she had trouble finding that gun in her desk. Took her a little while to get up there.
Very Southern. Everybody has a gun.
Everybody. I have a gun. I do. I'm not going to tell anybody where it is, but I have one in this house
But
somewhere.
because another person comes up later where they've just 3 guns hanging on the wall.
Look, it's the South. You never know when a deer might be in your backyard and you need to shoot it.
We are introduced to the sheriff and his deputy briefly, and then that deputy is getting into a verbal fight with a townsperson in the local watering hole.
Ugh. That's small town, too, for you.
Yes.
Which, you know who the deputy was? Or the sheriff, Holler, whatever his name was.
Holler? Joe?
Haller.
Is it Joe? Wait, you're talking about the
The
not
sheriff.
the sheriff.
The sheriff.
The guy from Lost and Stepfather.
And stepfather.
He was in Stepfather?
He was
He
the
is
stepfather.
Oh my God. I was like, he looks so familiar, but I couldn't place him.
Yeah. Terry O'Quinn.
Oh my God. Well, okay. So Virgil, the man that owns the little gas station where Marty goes and gets his little motorized wheelchair filled up, is that not the man from Mrs. Doubtfire that's hosting the dinosaur show? And Robin Williams is like, he put me to sleep when I was a kid.
Oh, hell. Maybe.
That I don't know.
I think it is.
I mean, it might be.
Well, Reverend Lowe Everett McGill is from Twin Peaks. That's where I know him from.
So this was a star-studded movie
For 85.
for 85.
Well, of course, I guess Miss Doubtfire came after that. But
Yeah.
We then see Marty taking a girl home after school. When they get to her house, she tells him she hears scary noises come from the shed next to the house every night. And then I just put her dad as an asshat.
Definitely an asshat.
terrible.
And see, that's where the twang comes in, so it makes me think, where was this supposed to be taking place?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, it's never said. So.
I guess with Stephen King, you never really know either. I bet
But
the
maybe it was changed. Maybe he changed the setting for
Yeah.
the movie.
Well, to be fair, it's just a novella too, right? So it's a shorter one of his stories, so he may not have even...
Yeah, I mean, like you said, for the screenplay, he may have, like, changed it
Yeah,
to be...
something else.
But what do we... So, Tammy...
Tammy.
That's the only
Cute.
scene you get her in again.
I
I know.
And then she's gone.
And I was a little... Because, I mean, I'm not necessarily looking for a love story with Marty, but, like, they, like...
It was sweet.
It is, and I feel like this movie kind of does that. It throws, like, a lot of, like, little nuggets of things, and then it just... You don't
Get it anymore?
get it again.
Yeah, there was one point later on, and I thought, what the hell happened to Tammy?
Well, they say something in the movie what happens to her.
They do?
Yeah, it's maybe towards the end.
And I missed it?
Yeah, they said because of everything that's going on, she got sent somewhere.
Oh, I totally missed that then.
Yes. Then as Keith said, Marty then goes to that gas station to fill up his motorized wheelchair.
Called the Silver Bullet.
Marty is then back home, and he's talking with Uncle Red while they play a card game, and Mother is pissed off.
First of all, I think Mother needs to calm down.
Nan.
Nan. Fucking boring ass Nan. Like she's never had a drink in her whole life. Look, I get it. Maybe he is an alcoholic and maybe he has a problem. But, like, I feel like she was, like, going in on him. Like, girl, he's a grown-ass man. Calm down. This isn't your kid.
Well, and it's like, I mean, I get that protectiveness.
Yeah.
But, like, has he ever actually done something to, like, upset your child outside of just kind of, like, having to leave?
Yeah.
Like,
because they seem to have a pretty good relationship.
well, right. And I feel like if he's upset him to that degree that you make it sound like, he would be more upset when he came back.
Yeah.
And he's
Agreed.
not. He's clearly...
Well, he obviously doesn't live there. He's visiting, right?
Right.
So, I don't know. Nan gets on my nerves.
But, I mean, he does make that comment about you've tried to, like, roll me my whole life or whatever. So, she sounds like she's probably just been an overbearing sister for
Forever. Yeah.
Well, I
But
don't know if your brother's Gary Busey. I would probably be the same way. But
Well, yeah. But,
I mean, I feel like being in, like... I mean, look... I am not a poster child for great siblings. So, but, like... I mean, I feel like that kind of, like, embarrassment that you feel sometimes with, like, your siblings and stuff. It's like... I mean... I feel that when you might be, like, out in public. But, like, if
at home,
we were at home and he's like, whatever, I mean, I might tell him to just fuck off if he pissed me off or something, but...
yeah, but I just think she goes overboard with it.
For sure. She was going for that award, is what she was doing.
Yeah. She was
like-
trying to get that Razzie.
She was, because this is really, like, her biggest
scene.
moment.
Yeah. Well,
So
it is
it's-
because I feel like after this, you see, like, practically nothing of the parents.
Well, yeah, so she was just like, okay, I've really got to do this, and I got to do it right.
Well, and yeah, because towards, the end of the movie, they're going out of town or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember sitting there thinking, just now they're going out of town? Have they not been out of town this whole I've never seen them since. Like, where are they?
well, there's the whole picnic scene before that. At the
Yeah,
barbecue.
yeah, I know that, but, like, they're just very absent. This is very clearly, like, this is Gary Busey's movie.
Right.
This is his Uncle Red's movie.
The girl that Marty walked home, her dad is watching wrestling when he hears noises outside. He investigates the greenhouse and is attacked and killed by the werewolf.
Ursula style.
Impaled by that piece of
Impaled
wood.
by the piece of wood.
Piece of wood, yeah. Here's my thing. I thought it was a little weird that Tammy was, like, scared of that greenhouse. Because I'm like, it's clearly on your property. Do you not see it every day? Like, have you not been in there before?
Well, why did the werewolf choose that to
Yeah.
go into?
Because they knew Tammy's daddy was a piece of shit.
Exactly. Once again, kind of, well, I guess the pregnant girl wasn't necessarily a piece of shit.
Well, you
But-
find out later.
Oh, right. But like, I guess if you really sit and like think about it, that's because I guess that is kind of where I kept going. Every time somebody was off, I was like, what's the connection?
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
Well, that werewolf busted through the floor
It was like
like
an
a jack
earthquake
in the
in there.
box.
the whole damn greenhouse shook.
Yeah, it was weird. That was a lot. And I was like, the werewolf's not that big. Well, let me ask you this. Did you remember who the werewolf was going into it, watching it?
I remembered like about the time the Marty stuff happens. And then
But you didn't at first.
no.
Michael,
like when I
did
was
you?
watching
Yeah, I remembered who the werewolf was.
No, I like when they showed. Well, I
I didn't remember anything else, but I remembered who the werewolf was.
See, and I remembered like more stuff that happened to like Marty and the kids and stuff than I did who the actual.
Well, I remember the bridge scene, but that was...
This seems to be a common thing for me.
Uh-huh.
I remember when Scream 4 came out, and I wasn't like, I don't know, it wasn't my thing when it first dropped. I didn't like it as much as the others. And I didn't watch it, no lie, for like I don't even know how long it had been since I watched it. And the first time I watched it after, I was like, I'm watching it and I'm looking, I'm like, I don't even remember who the killer is in this.
What?
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, like, I was like, I'm pretty sure one was Emma. I remembered that because obviously the beginning. But I was like, but I know that there's like a second. And I'm looking, I'm like, I don't remember. But yeah, I mean, obviously, like,
Wow. It's funny because it's the 13th anniversary of
I know.
Scream 4.
Yep. Is it today?
It's today.
Well, for those listening, I do remember now. So
That's so funny because I remember when it came out on DVD, I went to Walmart at like midnight and bought it and went home and watched it.
The local citizens are discussing the murders at the cafe, and the mayor asks if there are any leads. There isn't. He sets a town curfew.
look, these bar scenes are giving Halloween Ends.
Yeah, I didn't love the bar scenes.
Like, it felt very, it ends tonight. Like,
Especially later.
yes.
I thought so too. I was like, what are y'all going to do?
I mean, they obviously dive deep into this subject because was it private justice or whatever?
Yeah, that's not until later, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, private justice. We see Marty climb a tree to get his kite. His sister shows up to take him home. His friend Brady stays behind to keep flying his kite.
Okay. So hopefully y'all picked up. I'm sure Michael did. But Brady's kite had a smiley face on it. Mm-hmm. Which, where have we seen smiley faces before?
The Howling.
The Howling.
Mm-hmm.
Was that intentional?
Probably, I don't know.
You don't know?
I've never looked it up.
Well,
I
because
didn't
it
look
was
up any trivia.
81?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was 4 years
So I wonder,
after.
and I feel like The Howling was probably one of the first bigger werewolf movies, right?
Yeah,
Outside of like American Werewolf and,
Well, they came out the same year.
oh.
yeah.
Well, so yeah, I mean, I feel like it's probably little
Maybe a little
homage to-
throwback.
yeah.
I thought that was cool. Because they showed it once, but then, I mean, I feel like they really made sure to show it.
For some kid that is I don't know what you call him, paraplegic, crippled, he sure does a lot of stuff that I would not think a handicapped kid would be able to do.
Getting up in trees.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's movie magic for you.
We are back in the bar, and there is a bunch of shit talking. The deputy and that one citizen get into a fight when Brady's dad comes in asking if anyone has seen him. We then see the sheriff who finds Brady's body. His dad shows up and is distraught.
I can't believe that they killed a kid.
Mm-hmm.
That was some nerve. I wasn't expecting it.
Oh, you weren't? When Brady stayed behind, I was like, oh, he's dead.
Well, no. You heard me gasp.
I did hear you gasp.
I was
I
like,
was shocked. I was like, you didn't see that coming?
Nah, I mean, I don't know. I thought maybe attacked, but like dead?
Well, and this was also the first one we didn't see him get attacked.
Yes.
So, like, it was kind of, I guess, meant to be a shocker.
Well, yeah. Well, it's a kid, right?
Right.
So I would, they probably didn't want to show it.
But also, like, wasn't it... I mean, it was still daylight, right? When he was out there with the kite.
Yeah.
So, like...
Now it's dark.
Like,
So the
now...
sun must have been
How much
setting
time
or
has
something.
passed?
Right. Like, I
Well,
mean,
he was having a
I'm
lot of
just
fun
curious
flying
if
that
he... Because obviously, I mean, they come out full moon, right? So
Yeah. Well, and he was carrying that kite and it had blood all over it. Mm-hmm. But we never see
I
the
don't
body.
think that's necessary because of what happens with the sheriff later in the movie.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. I guess it's more kind of like at will.
Yeah, I think
But-
this is an at-will werewolf.
Yeah.
There's a funeral service for Brady. The Reverend Lowe does the talking. Uncle Red then takes Marty home. Marty talks to him and says he thinks it isn't a person but a monster, perhaps a werewolf.
Who says that?
Marty
Oh.
to Uncle Red on the ride
He actually
home.
says werewolf? Because the first time I ever remember hearing the word werewolf in this movie was Red.
No, Marty says that to him in the car right back.
Okay, so I must have missed that. So,
because he says monster and then he says werewolf.
do you think Herb, so Brady's dad,
Herb
that was
Furtlinger?
yeah, fruit wine, that was a bald cap, right?
Oh, it had to have been.
It looked awful. I kept looking at him and I was like, something does not look right about him. And I was like, that's got to be a bald cap. Bald cap. Right?
It had to have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Uncle Red doesn't believe him. He thinks Marty is crazy.
Nice. Without saying it.
Yes.
Pot, meat kettle.
A lynch mob is forming at the bar. They go out to find the killer against the sheriff's wishes, which he calls private justice. The Reverend tries to stop them as well.
Okay, see, this is where I'm like, y'all, do you even know what you're looking for? Like, what are y'all doing?
Nope, but they were arming themselves to go
That's
out
what I'm
and
saying.
find...
They were like, oh, okay, here we go. We're going to go. And I was just sitting there thinking, yeah, but what are you looking for?
And where are you
You have
gonna look?
no idea who or what you're looking for. You're just going out.
And
Like-
I take back my previous statement. This is actually when I realized that
Who the
it
killer
was.
or the werewolf was.
Because the Reverend is running out in the street trying to get everybody to stop and whatever. And I remember being like, oh, that's it.
I liked how this plays out kind of like a slasher movie. But it's a werewolf movie, but it plays out kind of like a slasher. Which I think Cursed does a really good job of doing later on, which we're going to watch at some point. But didn't you feel that way? I'm like, this is kind of like a slasher movie. You think about it. Because it really is a whodunit.
Right. I mean, the whole like baseball bat thing and all this, I'm like you were just saying, what you don't even know what you're up against. And you're out here in the middle of a field.
Yeah.
This fog was very high.
Very aggressive fog.
I was like, who's just going to go, you know what? This is some really dense fog. Maybe we should go check this.
Yeah.
What? No, you can.
Well,
I'll stay back here.
It just, it didn't make any... I'm very confused. Like, what were you thinking you were going to find? Like, I don't know.
And didn't that one dude pee his pants? No.
Now they make a comment.
No! Yes!
Make lemonade in your pants.
Yes!
Yeah.
Making lemonade in your pants. I wrote that in my notes because I'd never heard that before. You're not going to make lemonade in your pants, are ya?
As we kind of talked about, the mob is out in the woods searching when they are attacked and 3 people are killed.
Which, to be honest, the one guy I could have cared less. Andy, I think was his name.
I don't know. I just knew them as bar guys.
The one that was
2, and
literally leading everybody.
3. Oh, the one that caused all the trouble like every time they were in there.
The
What about
one
that?
guy gets killed with the baseball bat
Over and over.
because the werewolf grabbed the bat and started beating him with it.
Yeah, I feel like the werewolf in this movie is very human. Like, not what we're used to. You know, he's got a lot of human, or I don't want to say human attributes. He's obviously a werewolf, but he's still, his stance is human. He uses the baseball bat. Like, it's very human. What did you think about that, oh my God, that face mold of the first one, right?
Oh, that was bad.
Wasn't it
Oh,
bad?
yeah.
It was very bad.
It was just funny to me because I thought up until that point, like, the attacks were all pretty good, pretty gnarly. I liked the practical effects. Like, they all looked great. And then you see, like, I don't know, a mannequin face, essentially.
Literally.
And I was like, what the fuck was that? And it was a quick shot. It was a quick take, but it was not great.
I mean, y'all made that decapitated head look real good in the beginning, and then y'all give us this.
Yeah, they were like, okay.
They used all their budget on that.
I was going to say, they were like, look, we were out of money, so go to Goodies, get a mannequin, and we're going to do our best.
That big guy definitely would have been me, though.
Which one?
The scared one with the glasses.
What about the... Wait. I meant to mention this earlier. What about Tammy's daddy? When he's walking through the greenhouse and that spider comes down.
So Ryan was sitting there watching it with me at that point, and when that happened, I was like, well, that would have scared me more than a werewolf.
Hell yeah, it would have. I thought about that. I was like, that's Mike right there. He would have turned around and went home.
Yep, I would have left the greenhouse just after that. He wouldn't have gotten me.
I think Ronnie would have too.
Oh, for sure. And that looks like a real spider, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah.
We then see another funeral for the 3 people that were killed. The Reverend...
The triple funeral.
Yeah, the Reverend sees everyone turn into a werewolf, and then we find out he's just having a dream.
I thought the dream sequence was kind of interesting.
When it first started, I was like, why are they all staring at him like that? This is weird.
I first thought, why are we having a triple funeral? Like, these people aren't related. Nothing. Why are we having a joint funeral?
I mean, I guess
Save
it's a
on
small
cost.
town. Everybody knows everybody.
I guess, but then, like, all the people were, like, swaying back and forth.
That was
Which
fucking
I thought
weird.
was weird.
That was weird.
And then it made a point to show that poor organist, and I thought, wow, she is real busy these past few days. Like,
So, she made me laugh though in the
She
dream.
did.
I
When
was
she
dying.
turned into the werewolf,
and she was like full on like
she was,
arms like
as Keith said
flailing.
earlier, that was her moment.
Yeah,
With the mom, this was the organist moment. She's like, I'm going to give it all I've got.
I mean,
She did.
that was kind of like low-key my favorite part, when she turned into a werewolf and you saw her there playing the organ still. Like, okay, girl, play it. But I thought it was weird, and at first, I mean, I was like, I just thought it was a scene, you know? And then I was like, oh, okay, somebody's got to be dreaming. And of course, it was the Reverend. But then I thought, ooh, what an interesting twist that would have been. Like, have we ever had a movie like that where it's just like a shitload of werewolves instead of like zombies? Or like vampires? I feel like we haven't really.
American Werewolf in Paris, when they're in that club.
God, awful.
But I feel like a lot of the werewolf movies you see, it's like a werewolf. Or maybe a couple.
It's not werewolves.
Like a pack.
But it's not like, like a whole, town, essentially. Whatever. Then I thought that would be an interesting concept. If everybody in a town turned into... Maybe maybe it was a movie about, I don't know, people going to fucking Shelbyville, Tennessee, and everybody there's a werewolf. And
I mean, I feel like
that'd be kind of cool.
I feel like probably seen more of like vampire movies like that than werewolves.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I don't know. I kind of liked the dream sequence, so I was like, oh, okay, I could get into that. But then, of course, he woke up, and I was like, damn. All right.
Which, I mean, I don't want to like dive too much into the analysis of that until later, but because like you said, why is everybody looking at him like that? And I kind of feel like obviously we figured that out.
Yeah.
If you think about.
Yeah, but did you figure it out? I don't think you had figured it out by that point.
No.
No, because
No,
he
I was
mentioned
still
who he
hell
thought
bent.
it was, and I was like, okay.
I kept thinking, look, I'm just going to be really honest with you. I thought, okay, let's say the dad was the person having the fight with that woman at the beginning. I thought, okay, well, if he's not killing her, maybe it's Uncle Red. Red just came into town and all this shit started happening. Yes, it's a bit of a red herring, I get it. But maybe he knew about that affair, and so he was killing that woman, so none of this would ever be brought up to his sister. Like, he was saving,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? And then, obviously, we know that Tammy's dad, like, kind of said some not, like, so nice
Great
things
stuff
about
about
Marty. Maybe he had heard that somewhere, and so he was getting revenge. So I still kind of thought, I think it's Gary Busey.
What did you think, though? At the end of that sequence, he wakes up. You think it's a dream, and he says, "Let it be over, God." What did you think he was talking about?
Honestly, I just thought, oh, okay, so maybe he knows that there's werewolves here. But I didn't think, oh, it's him.
Oh, so you kind of took it as like, let it be over, like the murders.
Yeah, like he knew.
Because obviously it was post 3 more killings, and as a preacher in the town,
I thought maybe that he knew of something, like maybe this has like been going on in this town for years and years and years, and if he comes from a line of pastors, maybe this is something he's known. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just, I didn't even think anything of it. Okay, maybe I'm a fucking idiot, but I don't know.
I think that that's an interesting, like, take on it. Mm-hmm. But that's also the exciting part of doing this with someone that hasn't seen it versus the ones that have. Because then it's like, I wouldn't have thought about it like that.
Yeah.
And of course, I can't remember when I was like 12 watching this what I expected from this movie.
Well, I just think, like, you know, a lot of movies, who knows the most about, like, the town and its past? The reverends or people in, like, higher political positions, maybe, you know? So I just thought, oh, okay, maybe he knows something. I don't know. Like, I didn't even think about it.
Fair. So the dang fireworks show has been canceled, and the town looks desolate.
Yeah, where did everybody go? Well, they're hiding from the werewolves.
Well, it's the town that dreaded sundown.
Yeah, except for not, thank God.
I just love when these movies put curfews, like, I mean, Scream did it too. Like,
yes,
you know,
and you see the people, like,
frantically getting home before sundown.
I need to get my groceries and get home. Yes.
I thought that one little lady was so funny, though, because it, like, follows her, and she is really shimmying down that sidewalk, and it takes her a hot minute to get that door unlocked, and I was
she
just
is
like...
trying-
Oh, that
she's
older
like,
black lady?
Yes. I kind of loved her. I wanted to know more about her and her husband.
Well, because you do see him again.
We
later.
do see them again, yeah.
Marty and Uncle Red have a chat, and Uncle Red gives him his new souped-up silver bullet wheelchair. The family then has a barbecue. Before Uncle Red leaves, he gives Marty a bag of fireworks.
And Gary Busey says he feels like a virgin on prom night.
He does.
That's why I'm like, okay, this has got to take place in the South, because nobody anywhere else would say that except for some bumfuck Southern person.
Right.
You know, like, these one-liners are just so Southern.
Also,
someone from Shelbyville
only
or
in the
Murfreesboro.
South, in some backwoods-ass country town, are you going to be just driving this souped-up, basically motorcycle.
Yeah, on a road.
As a, what, how old is he? 12?
He's 11.
Yeah. And just... Yeah,
He's
it's
hot
fine.
rodding it.
Just go.
Yep.
But I mean, I know when we used to drive around, like, Woodbury, where my grandparents lived, Lord, I mean, we would be in the back of the, like, the tailgate, or the bed of the truck and all that stuff. Like, they didn't give no fucks. We were waving at the cops behind us.
When I went to school, people drove their tractors. Like, literally was not uncommon for you to see a couple tractors in the parking lot. Okay? So, yes, definitely took place somewhere in the South.
Well, they have a very nice barbecue. Everyone's getting along. So later that night, Marty sneaks out, and he makes his way to a pedestrian bridge and starts lighting off the fireworks.
Once again, to your point earlier.
How the hell is he going to get down that? He has no use of his legs
Literally.
whatsoever.
How?
Yeah, this is an 11-year-old boy. This isn't like a grown man that's got
Upper body strength.
biceps.
And he's just flopping down that little...
Like he's Tarzan.
I don't get it. What? Okay, so here's another reason that I thought, okay, so Uncle Red made it very clear to not leave their property, right? Like,
Yes.
you can shoot these fireworks, but don't leave the house. Like, stay on the property. He says it twice. And that's, again, I thought, okay, he's telling him to stay home because maybe when he's a werewolf, he has no control over himself. So he's saying this so he doesn't hurt him. Again, watch, you know, obviously, like, it's over. We watched it. We're talking about it. Okay, Gary Busey was a red herring. I get it. But I fell for it.
Well,
So the fireworks scene.
yes. Obviously, he hears something. He sees the werewolf, and he shoots the rocket firework, and it hits the werewolf in the eye.
No, okay. When Gary Busey handed these to him, I was like, maybe it's just because I'm a 38-year-old watching this, but I was like, you gave him a Roman candle and like a one of those little measly rockets that pop off like one time.
Yeah.
And he was so pumped, and I'm like, that is lame.
Okay, but to be fair, it was in a brown grocery bag and it looked full, so we don't know what all was in there. But I will take a Roman candle any day over those. No, I'm not big on fireworks.
But
I
what
think
was
it's a
funny
waste of money.
is when we were watching it, I was like, oh, now I do remember as a kid getting those ones that he sat on like the side
railing?
of the bridge. That little spinny one
Yeah.
that had like the little plastic wings on it. I was like, I actually do remember getting those when I was a
Yeah.
kid.
Well, he was having the best time till the
Oh my
werewolf
God,
showed
just
up.
laughing and clapping. He was just living it up.
I want to know where this pedestrian bridge is.
Not on their property.
Nope. Well, the werewolf is hurt and he hightails it out of there. The next day, he calls Red to tell him what happens. Uncle Red doesn't believe him.
Wait, did we like mention like that he was like legit like shot the rocket in the eyeball? I feel like that's relevant.
No, I did say it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It did. It went right in his eyeball.
You could see it sticking out of his eyeball.
Right.
Good.
So then Marty tells Jane what happened. She sort of believes him, and she goes out to collect cans and bottles to see if any citizens have a bum eye. She
Cans
finds
and
no
bottles.
one out. She finds no one at first.
Okay, so why is she collecting these cans of bottles again?
Some
Just as like a
charity.
decoy.
Yeah.
Just as a,
No.
There actually
collect them
is-
for the church or something.
Yes.
Right.
But she's but to Mike's
Yes.
point, to your point, and you both have a point.
Yeah,
That's right.
She is actually collecting the cans
For a reason.
but she's doing. Yeah, I just thought this girl has some nerve going into this barbershop
Pulling
and
that
taking that
towel off
warm
his
towel
face.
off that man's face, and like none of them thought it was weird or anything. And she was like, "Okay, bye." They're like, "Bye, Janie."
yeah, that was out of that whole scene. We obviously is this when we get
It's
the
coming
little
up.
black couple.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Right.
yeah, she goes to their
Yeah.
house. Yep.
But I was just like, I mean, it's one thing to go door to door, but like, I mean, yeah, you straight up walked in that barbershop and just
Took the towel off. What about you, sir? I am trying to relax.
Yeah, she
the
actually
hell
says
outta
his
here.
name. Yeah, she says his name. Is that you?
Yeah, and
Peter
I'm pretty
Cottontail?
sure he like cusses her or something underneath his breath.
probably because
And
it's that Andy guy.
Yeah, when she walks away. Okay. So this is when I finally realized.
Well, obviously.
No, look.
Oh my god. I would hope so.
Even before, when she goes to the church to drop off what she's collected, you see him bent over. He's like in the flower garden or something, right? And I was like, oh my God, it's him. And then you see that he's wearing an eye patch. And I was like, son of a bitch. But then I really thought, maybe it's not. And something else happened. You know, they like to throw you off in movies. Like, so I'm like, well, maybe it's actually not him.
I don't think I've ever heard you think this hard about a movie we've watched before.
Really?
Like wavering so much, yes.
I was just, I don't know. Maybe it's because I was so convinced that it was going to be like Gary Busey that I was like, maybe it's not the Reverend. Like, maybe he fell and like hurt his eye,
He
and
got
we don't
poked
know.
with the
We
rose
don't know
bush.
that. We didn't see it, huh?
He got poked with the rose bush when he was gardening.
Maybe I don't know.
His little shears
Yeah.
stabbed him.
Or maybe he was attacked by the werewolf. Like, I don't know. But they had a lot of bottles and cans in that garage. Like, I don't think they did anything with them.
So my elementary school story time had a recycle room, and all I could think when she walked in that garage is it had to stink like nobody's business. That recycle room smelled terrible at our school.
Really?
Yeah. Even though, because I mean, obviously they're like empty cans and stuff, but like you still have remnants left in the bottom of a can most of the time.
Well, and this
So-
is a southern town, so people are probably using those mellow yellow
Spit
bottles
cans
to
and-
spit into
Ugh.
their tobacco in.
Gross.
But we see that bat in the
The peacemaker.
peacemaker bat
Yeah.
that she says been gnawed down to a toothpick.
Well, then the Reverend comes in and she notices that he has an eye patch on, and it all
And
clicks.
she freezes.
Yes.
She's like instantly like, oh God. And I'm trapped in this.
Well, I did think he
know.
was going to snatch her, but
I know Janie has no poker face.
Right.
She might as well said, "I know you're the werewolf."
Yeah,
it was all over her face.
Literally.
He does mention a few times stuff about Marty, though.
Well, because Marty's onto him. Hello. It is kind of weird, though, you think about it. He's so hell-bent on getting Marty at this point because Marty knows. Well,
Marty doesn't know.
Marty doesn't.
He knows there's a werewolf.
Yeah, Marty doesn't know. But he knows Marty did this to him, and he's
Yes.
so hell-bent on getting him. And I'm like, I don't know. I just feel like in some movies you see, like, when they're in werewolf, like, they kind of lose themselves a little bit. I'm like, he's obviously in human form, and he still wants to go after this 11-year-old crippled boy. Like,
Well, he uses a bat, so this goes back to your point. He retains some kind of humanness to him when he transforms.
Definitely.
So Jane tells Marty what happens. Marty comes up with a plan. This includes making ransom-type letters. They mail them to the Reverend, and he gets them.
tells him to kill it. You should kill yourself. You should probably kill yourself, or something like that.
Yeah, we know who
he cuts
you
out the
are.
letters
You
out of a
should kill
magazine.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Cuts the letters out of a magazine and pastes them together like
And also, once
John Benet
again,
Ramsey's.
Jane, no poker face. Girl, you're giving yourself away standing in front of that mailbox. Now ain't nobody going to question you putting a letter in the mailbox.
No.
But you standing there being like, looking over your shoulder at everybody.
Just drop it in and leave.
Yeah, she might as well have just said, no biggie, guys. Just throwing this in here.
And what's the Reverend going to do? I got this letter accusing me of being
Right.
a werewolf.
I mean, I guess she is like a mid-teen, so maybe she just doesn't think. But
Good Lord.
Marty tells Uncle Red what they've been up to. They then spy on the Reverend at the church. While Marty is watching a baseball game, at the baseball field, a car comes up behind him in the distance. It is the Reverend. He follows Marty home. A chase ensues. Marty is trapped, but saved by a neighbor on a tractor.
Okay, but like he really tried to run that little boy off the road.
literally. I mean, also, like, I love how this movie is, like, at this point, I mean, we're pretty sure, like, where this is kind of going. You know, we're, like, waiting for this is when it starts getting good. And yet we have this little scene of, let's throw this, like, heartfelt moment where Marty's watching all the kids play, and he...
Hey, you wanna come play with us?
Yeah, like...
No.
I was like, well, I mean, this is just sad.
Hey, at least they offered and asked if he wanted to play. That was nice.
Right.
Because in a lot of these movies, they do not act like that.
But yeah, him driving him, like, off the road...
I was just thinking, okay, well, if you're the fucking werewolf, why don't you just wait and get the deed done when you're a werewolf instead of trying to run this poor kid off the road?
Well, now the evidence is all over his car as that comes up later.
Yes.
And this goes back to what happens later in the movie. He obviously can do it whenever he wants.
Right.
So why not do it when you're in werewolf form?
Yeah.
Or can't be traced back to you.
Or maybe you can't, I mean, because most of all these attacks happen at night.
And, I mean, maybe he just thought... Because, I mean, I guess most of the movie, Marty is not by himself. So, like...
Yeah.
This was his moment because he was by himself.
And maybe, so, for him turning into a werewolf, the way that I took it is he could turn whenever he wanted to, but on a full moon, like...
It was stronger.
Well, on a full moon, like, he's turning. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. And I feel like some of the werewolf lore that I'm familiar with, like, God, I hate to keep going back to True Blood, but in True Blood, you know, Alcide could pretty much turn into a werewolf whenever he wanted, but when it was a full moon, he was turning. Like, there was no, like, he had to.
Right.
So... I was thinking, you know, maybe this is a similar situation.
It could be. Thank God Mr. Zimmerman shows up on his tractor. How the hell he could hear him screaming for Mr. Zimmerman over the tractor and that pretty much enclosed bridge.
Yeah.
Baffles me.
I don't know. Marty? Is that you in there?
Scary in there, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what he says. Hell yeah, especially when you're here with the Reverend.
Marty, Jane, and Uncle Red are talking about what happened, and Uncle Red goes to tell the sheriff. The sheriff goes and finds the Reverend's car and sees that the paint from the silver bullet on his car. The Reverend comes out of the back room, transforms, and kills the sheriff with a bat.
With the bat.
Actually, going back to that little shed scene or whatever, I was like, I kind of thought that left me hanging a little bit. I thought that he was going to kill that guy.
Oh, yeah.
But then I guess that would have left Marty in there to be able to be killed. Because when he, vanished, I thought he, left
and
was going to go around the other side to, kill dude. Maybe Marty would just get away, but I guess he didn't have gas.
Well, is this not when he says that he killed that woman because she committed the worst sin, which would be to kill yourself?
Yes.
And he killed her so she...
Save her
so she would go to heaven and not go to hell.
Yeah. Also,
saved her eternal life.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, I was kind of surprised that the sheriff, because at this point, the whole town seems to hate him. I don't think he's that bad of a guy. What do you do in your situation like that? Evidence? You don't have anything. But I did think it was funny, or not funny, but I thought it was odd that he actually believed him enough to go to the church.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at this point...
Grasping at straws.
Right. I mean, what else are you going to do? If, you have any sort of a lead, you may as well at least look into it.
Yeah.
Well, this is where we see him transform into a werewolf.
Yes.
For the first time.
Which... What do you think about the transformation?
I don't think it's great.
Can I be honest? For me, and I really I didn't mind it that much, but I just kept thinking, I mean, this is just a man in a wolf suit. There's nothing special about it. It's just a man in a wolf suit. That's how I felt about it.
I mean, I kind of think that funeral scene kind of gives you a pretty good idea of what this transformation's probably going to look like. The way that the other...
It prepared us.
Yeah, his dream sequence. If they look like that, obviously that's probably what he's going to look like when...
You know what, though? I thought that... We haven't gotten there yet, but at the end, when he's going from vampire to human form, I thought that transformation was better. What did I say?
Oh, I agree.
Werewolf. God damn it.
No, I agree. It was a lot better.
Yeah, it was a lot better, right? Because, you see the claws kind of retract, all that stuff. I thought that looked better. But anyway.
All three are at the lake discussing that the sheriff...
It's disgusting.
Discussing that the sheriff has now gone missing. Marty gives Red his necklace and asks him to turn it into a silver bullet. Jane does the same thing.
Yeah, but in what world, would one single silver bullet do the trick? I just thought...
Well, you better have a good aim.
I looked at Michael and I was like, one? They're only getting one made?
Make it count.
One? But I guess with a silver bullet and a werewolf, can you shoot them anywhere? Or does it have to be... I mean, obviously they don't shoot him in the heart.
I'd say the head or the heart, probably.
Okay.
I mean, I
guess if it's lodged inside you...
Well, that's what I was about to say. I hate to be the second person to bring this up, but True Blood...
Yeah.
Silver's a thing for them.
Yes, for vamps and werewolves.
Right. And I feel like with them, if it's in their system...
Yeah.
It's
going to poison them regardless.
In-game.
Yeah.
Well, I even think about the Howling, because they do use silver bullets in the Howling, but I'm like, well, did all these people get shot in the head? And I don't think they did. I feel like they just shot them, and with it being in them, it kind of...
Well, at least in the Howling, they had more than one silver bullet.
They have that whole arsenal. Here's one bullet. This is my best work.
Well, that was a dramatic overdub. He was an artisan, and he was craftsman, and he was the best at his job, and I was like,
these are the moments where I'm like, okay, clearly Stephen King book, because I can literally picture this in that book.
And you being like, okay, get on with it.
Right, we know. There's some old man out in the middle of the woods somewhere that just magically knows how to lie.
Well, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if in his book he had a bigger role. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I do find it...
Because he kind of did seem like he might know Red.
Yeah, like they had a history. But, like I said, Stephen King did write this script, too.
Right.
So, but who's to say that some of it didn't get cut? Like, we don't know.
Was this rated R or rated PG-13? R. Okay.
Honey, that was rated R. There was a decapitation at the very beginning.
And a bug killed.
Oh, yeah, they squished that bug, honey. That'll get you an R rating.
Uncle Red gets the parents to leave by faking that he won a trip for two on a romantic getaway.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I thought they were just going out of town.
No, he said that he won some romantic giveaway and he is going through divorce, so which obviously was a lie, so he's going to babysit. They stay up till 3 a.m. to wait for the werewolf to come. Uncle Red said he isn't coming, and Jane sees the werewolf outside. Do not go into what happens next. Just talk about up until she sees the werewolf.
Well, all I was going to say was they all fell asleep and you hear the national anthem on the television, and I just kept waiting for Carol Ann to crawl up to it and start talking to it. Because that's what she does in Poltergeist.
He's here.
When he dropped the gun that first time, I was literally like Marty. It's like, that could have just gone off. You could have just ruined like our one moment. Our one shot.
Yeah. And Gary Busey would do some shit like that.
Yeah, I don't feel like this character is very far-fetched from like
what he actually,
how he is. And
at one point in my notes, I don't know, but I was like, this is literally
this
life
role
imitating art,
made
imitating life.
Yeah, because it is him. I agree. So the werewolf.
Oh God, you are really okay. I'm excited. You didn't want us to talk about any of this, so I'm just really anxious.
The werewolf literally barges through the side of the house, not the window, not the door, not a skylight, through the wall.
Yeah,
like the Kool-Aid Man.
Yeah.
A fight happens. Uncle Red is thrown through and against more furniture than a WWE fighter.
He's coming to give you diabetes.
The kids end up getting the gun and shoot the werewolf through the good eye. He dies and transforms back into the Reverend.
So when the bullet fell into the vent, can't you usually just pick those up?
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, just pull it up.
I was looking for it, and I was like, well, I mean, it doesn't look like our normal air vents. It was one of those ones that's got like the squares.
Yes,
but like
sometimes those
might be screwed. It might be screwed in.
Well, I was gonna say, growing up, ours were on the floor like that, and they would be screwed in, just like ours on the ceiling. But if they weren't screwed in, I mean, I knew a lot of people who they weren't. Like, they were just...
Yeah, they just sit in there.
They were just a vent, and you could pull it out. And I was like, I don't see any screws. Like, can you just pick it up?
Well, there was a marble in there.
And
there?
A cigarette.
And a cigarette.
Yeah.
Oh, and Janie hid that. She was, like, smoking it one day, and her parents came home, and she, like, tossed it in there.
I don't even get, why did Uncle Red take the bullet out of the gun? I know he said the werewolf isn't going to come.
I thought he put it in there and was like wheeling it around, and then he jumped in and he dropped the gun and the bullet fell out of it.
Well, no, he purposely took the bullet out.
Yeah.
After he was like questioning whether or not this was actually going to take place.
Because he said the werewolf wasn't going to show up, yeah, and then he did all that.
But like, I think it just happened before he got an opportunity to like put it back in there.
Did no one else find it ridiculous that the werewolf jumped through the wall?
Yes.
Not the window, not a door.
But the wall.
Jumped through the fucking wall.
He was trying to prove a point, okay?
At what point was that?
That he's stupid.
Well,
I don't know.
I mean,
guess I didn't really think about it.
This was a full moon, right? So maybe he is stronger.
He was very powerful.
Yeah.
On the full moon.
Gary Busey goes through so much furniture, tossed upside down in this scene. He's pretty much worthless.
Well, I know.
And even Jane gets thrown, right?
Yes.
Well, he strangles Jane at one point, and I thought, surely he's not going to kill her.
Because Marty throws something at the werewolf, like a little side table or something.
Hits him in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of wild. I mean, I did think for a second there, I'm like, oh, he might actually kill Janie. But he didn't.
I just... Realistically, and I know that this is just a movie, whatever, but like, once again, what are the odds that your exact shot
Is in the other eye?
is in the other eye.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
movie magic.
Well,
Yeah, and here's the thing, too. Marty shot him, right?
yep.
This is probably the first gun Marty's ever shot, I'm guessing. Because they don't ever make
It was
reference
beginner's
of him being
luck
like a
then.
really good shot. Like, he doesn't go hunting or anything.
yeah, I mean, if anything,
the
I feel
first
like
time.
if I'm a first-time shooter, I'm probably going to
Honey, that thing is going out the window.
Well, or I'm going to at least aim for the biggest part of his body.
Yes.
Like, the body part, not his head.
Well, maybe it was just a sheer coincidence that he was able to get it in his eye.
But then Marty makes that stupid joke there at the end. Like, when it, like, goes to pan out. And he's like, he says something about, guys, I can't feel my legs. And then everybody's like, and then
He does. Marty does say that.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, you got to give the kid some credit. At least he can, like,
Have a sense of
not
humor.
take himself so seriously.
Well,
yeah.
and he was right. Like, he wasn't, everybody wanted to call him crazy, but.
he was right the whole time, and he's he's the fucking hero of this movie.
Right.
Okay?
No.
The transformation from werewolf back into human was probably the best
It was.
He looked
werewolf type
gross laying
transformation.
there as a human.
Oh, we get that last jump scare because he does move or jump.
Oh,
or
yeah,
something
yeah.
Lord, I think I'd already zoned out at that point.
before he dies.
He was making the end of his notes.
I was. It is time for Michael Roberts' favorite segment, Horrified Theater. Mike,
Yes.
tell us what we're doing.
All right. So this one's going to be a little bit of a.
Ew, Michael, that is strong. Good Lord, sorry.
This is like a 3-for-1 deal on this one.
A 3-for-1.
Yeah, because like it's 3 scenes, but they're all kind of like small, but they all go together.
Okay.
So, but there is 7 characters total. However,
Oh, God.
you each have 2, and shockingly enough, I gave myself 3.
Great, because I need a small role today.
So, it is actually gonna start at the scene with Tammy. So, obviously, you know who I gave you.
Of
the
course
part
I'm Tammy. Of course. That's fine.
Michael, you are gonna be Marty. I'm gonna be Brady. Keith, you're Tammy. That's all in this kind of first scene.
Okay.
Wait,
And then-
her name's Tammy? I thought it was Jane.
Tammy's the friend, the Southern girl.
Oh, okay.
And then Tammy's dad. I'll do that.
I cannot wait to hear
Mr.
what your interpretation is going to be like of Tammy's father.
Michael, your gas station. Did you say his name was Virgil?
Virgil.
I don't know how I missed that.
Well, the gas station's called Virgil's, so I just assumed he was Virgil.
And see, when Marty rolls up, he says Mr. Cuts, and that's the only reason I put that. And then I'll do Uncle Red, and Keith, you'll be Nan.
How do I catch that his name is Virgil, but didn't catch that he came barging through the side of the house?
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
well, I don't know. How did you question it any further after you saw the Reverend with...
Leave me alone.
Stranger things have happened.
Look, I just find it so shocking that the Reverend would be the bad guy. That would never happen in real life.
Oh, especially in a small town.
No, never.
Okay. So
I get Tammy and the most boring character in the whole movie, Nan. The most not fun.
Well, I expect full dramatic.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna try. Sorry.
All right. We ready?
Yep.
Okay.
What's up, y'all? It's your favorite movie maniacs, Jesse,
And Brittany,
from Danger Zone Video.
voted Nashville's best new video store.
And you bought the ticket? Now it's time to take the ride. This is Horrified Theater.
Marty comes rolling up to school in his wheelchair. Brady and Tammy are there to greet him. Hey, it's Madman Marty and the Silver Bullet. So, Marty, glad to be out of jail?
No, I like school.
Booger. We cut to Marty and Tammy going home together. Marty in the wheelchair and Tammy on her bike. Marty's showing off, doing circles around her.
Be careful.
Not bad, huh? Uncle Red took off the regular muffler and put on a cherry bomb.
What's that?
Glass pack. He said he's making me a new wheelchair. A custom job, but now I don't know. He's getting a divorce and he's in the doghouse with Mom.
Forgetting that devours?
Well, it is his third.
They roll up on the house of the latest victim of the werewolf. The police are there boarding up the upstairs window where it entered. Tammy looks frightened.
Come on, Tammy.
Thanks for coming home with me, Marty. I was scared to go past your house by myself.
Yeah, it is a little scary.
I mean, I saw her all the time.
Hey, take it easy. I know how you feel.
There's something else scary.
Marty turns off the motor to his wheelchair. Tammy points in the direction of a greenhouse.
What?
There! I've been hearing noises out there.
Tammy's dad yells for her from the porch. Tammy! Get on here! Help your mama with the laundry.
Well, I would go Wait, that's the Sorry. Sorry, it's the Dayquil.
Well, I would take a look, but I think the bullet would get stuck in the mud.
Tammy leans in to kiss him on the cheek.
You would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, sure, no sweat.
Tammy!
I gotta go, Tammy.
Thanks again for coming home with me.
Damn cripple. Always ended up on welfare. I'll electrocute them all. Balance a goddamn budget.
Oh, Lord.
Marty.
I'm glad he died, for the record.
Right. Marty fires up his wheelchair and putters into the gas station, barely making it.
Hey, Mr. Cuts. Oh, my God.
Is that me?
Hey, Marty, I see you lucked out again. Yep, would you fill her up, please? Want me to check the oil? Yeah, sure. Wipe the windshield, check the driver's bullshit level.
We get to the coleslaw house where I almost said coleslaw. Where Uncle Red and Marty are playing cards. You can tell that Marty loves his uncle and has a great relationship with him.
Is her last name was really Coleslaw?
It's coleslaw.
Oh.
But that's why I said I almost said coleslaw.
It looks like coleslaw.
God, how am I gonna do Gary Busey? There's a guy sitting in a bar. The guy says to the bartender, "Hey, jackass, pour me a drink." So the bartender pours him a drink. He drinks, sits there for a while, and then says, "Hey, jackass, pour me another drink." So he pours him another drink. The guy gets up and leaves. The guy who's sitting there says, "Hey, why you let him call you jackass all the time?" The bartender says, he always calls me that. Marty's mom is...
I mean, all you really have to do is sound like you're out of breath, and you got it.
Marty's mom is watching from the kitchen as the two of them laugh at Red's joke. You might as well fold because you don't stand a chance.
I'll see you and I'll raise you this.
Can't bet managers. I said time and time again, can't bet managers.
Okay. So I'll bet you a Yankee.
Piss on the Yankees, piss on the Indians, piss on the Phillies.
Come on. Excuse me. Come on. Time for bed.
Mom, come on.
Well, let him finish the game, okay?
Make it quick.
What'd you say, Yankees? I'll see your Yankees, and I'll call you. I got 3 kings. Read them and weep. Nan stands in the back looking irritated.
I got a straight to the queen.
That's bullshit luck. Bullshit luck.
That's enough.
I'm thinking there's...
That's enough.
Hey, can I at least say goodnight? Marty looks at Uncle Red. They pause. Good night. Uncle Red gives him a kiss on the cheek, to which Marty scoffs, and they begin to playfully chat while Nan pulls Marty's chair to the stairs. Good night. Good night.
Good night.
See you later. I'll see you in the morning. I'll see you in the morning.
Okay.
Oh, wake me up.
Okay.
No, I'll wake you up.
Okay.
Nan gets Marty from his chair to the stair lift.
Honey, ask your sister to help you out.
I will.
Good night.
The chair begins to ascend the wall, and Uncle Red makes faces at Marty until he's out of sight, immediately looking irritated and takes a swig of his wild turkey. Nan and Red start to get loud with each other.
I don't want you drinking around Marty.
Don't be telling me what to do. You've been telling me what to do my whole life.
Red, I don't care how you live, but he's a very impressionable little boy. You know, you think your only responsibility is getting his butt out of the chair.
Oh, that's me.
Well, it says Nan.
I know it does. You know, you think your only responsibility is getting his butt out of the chair and into the tub and out of his chair and onto the toilet. And you ought to realize there's more to Marty than him not being able to walk.
Oh, it's so easy for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
You blow in here once a month, you tell a few jokes, and you have a few beers, and then you want to lecture me about how to raise my son. Well, I'm the one that's responsible for how he feels when he sees you like this, and how he feels when you leave, Red. Marty has enough strikes against him as it is.
He doesn't have any strikes against him.
I'm scared to death that someday he's just gonna give up.
He's not gonna give up.
Well, he doesn't need you showing him how to do it.
Nan leaves the room and turns the light off as she disappears into the other room. Another wonderful night here at Sister Nan's.
So you've survived another horror-fried theater. Congratulations. If you would ever like to come peruse some wares, maybe come purchase a movie mentioned on this podcast, come down to Danger Zone Video, 11942 Lebanon Road, Mount Juliet, Tennessee, 37122. Come visit us and leave absolutely horrified.
Whew.
I need a nap.
That just take it out of you.
Yes. God, Lord.
And look, you started this by saying I got the most boring character.
She is boring. She sucks all the fun out of everything. Listen to Alonzo just said. God. It's now time for our final finger-licking thoughts here at Horror Fried. We rate our films using the heat scale of Nashville's famous hot chicken on a scale of 1 to 5. No spice, mild, medium, hot, and Nashville hot. All right, Mike, this was your movie pick, so I'm going to let you start us off with your rating.
So, like I said, it has been quite a while since I'd seen this. So, like, and sometimes it's hard for me to, like, watch it and critique it, you know, be in that mindset of, like, critiquing a movie. But there are some things that kind of, like, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of one of those, like, where it's based off kind of like a book and things get a little, like, I kind of was wanting a little bit more in terms of we know nothing about the origination of this werewolf.
Nothing.
So, like, I would like a little bit more with that. And I don't know, I've never read that novella, so maybe there's something in there, or maybe this is just a one-off werewolf that was on a mission from God to save people from committing suicide. Like, who knows?
Maybe.
But in general, I do still really enjoy it. I also was watching this thinking, this came out in 85 and Lost Boys came out in 87. Corey Haim
hit puberty.
Hit real well puberty in like 2 years. Because he doesn't even look the same to me.
It probably was filmed in like 84.
Right. I guess depending on when it came out in 85.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But yeah, I just feel like that. Anyway, but that's neither here nor there. In general, I am probably going to give it a 4. So a hot.
That woke Buddy up.
Oh.
Michael?
So like Mike, I have seen this movie before. I saw it when I was probably in my 19 or early 20s. I'm not going to say how I felt about it back then, but I went into this with an open mind, or tried to.
So you hated it back then. Basically.
You know, I did look at an IMDb and I was very surprised to see that it had a 6.4 rating. And then you look at the reviews, and reading the reviews, I was kind of shocked, because I was like, don't think we watched the same movie. I hate this because Mike loves this movie.
Oh, my God. Don't hold back on my account.
I am shocked that this was actually, the screenplay was written by Stephen King, because I find it very, I don't know what the
muddy
word, booger.
Yeah.
Do you make lemonade in your pants? It's very juvenile.
I was going to say,
but it's
amateur.
rated R. If this was PG-13, I could kind of understand that they're trying to bring in a younger demographic into it. But this is an R, so that doesn't make any sense to me.
And I mean, look, when I was 11, I wasn't calling people boogers like we said earlier. Like, I was definitely cussing behind my parents' back.
And even in the 80s, they weren't, you booger.
Yeah.
And they say booger a few times in this movie.
And I think, like, a lot of movies, especially horror movies, give you these older actors that play younger characters. And this, you don't really have that. Like, these kids look like they're
Kids.
Yeah. And I get that, but I feel like she would, you brat. Right. Something, not booger. And there's all I can think of right now is the booger and you make lemonade in your pants line that a 60-year-old woman said to a 60-year-old man.
I could see somebody saying that, though.
I would say, don't piss your pants.
Well, but this, I feel like that's just the southern part of it.
The small town, yeah. And here's the thing, too. Like, obviously, the Reverend, like, it's a small town. Everybody knows this Reverend. These kids go to church. So maybe they were brought up, like, they don't speak ill of one another. And maybe booger was, like, their...
risque.
Yeah, maybe. It was like us when we were kids. We
I don't
called
know.
You butthole. You butthole.
I mean, to your point, though, it doesn't shy away from calling him booger, but, like, she literally calls him cripple.
Yeah.
Like, so, I mean...
I almost wonder if this was the first... I wonder if this is the first screenplay
he
wrote. I would be curious to know that. I just don't... I didn't find the writing very good. And then the other thing, and I hate to compare it to The Howling because I love The Howling, but The Howling came out 4 years prior to this, and it had a $1.5 million budget. This movie had a $7 million budget, and I think the special effects in The Howling looked much better than they do in this movie. Mm-hmm. And I can't figure out why, because you didn't spend a bunch of money hiring Gary Busey, and if this is early in Stephen King's career, they didn't spend a lot of money getting him to write the script, so I cannot figure out where the money went.
I also don't know, like, because especially with Stephen King, the order of those movies, because it seemed like in the 80s he was cranking them out, like, pretty solid. And because I think about, you haven't even said your score yet, and I'm just, like, over here.
You're fine.
But, like, because the over narration for this, I felt was unnecessary.
Yeah, you didn't need it.
And that's one of the things I did write down. I felt like it made the movie feel more serious than it needed to be.
Yeah.
Whereas, had we just not had that,
and why do we have narration? That's obviously an adult Jane. Who is she? Is she on her deathbed?
Well, it's almost like, why is she telling it and not Marty?
Right.
But
did Marty die? And she's
to go back though to what you were saying about booger and like the language. This technically was in the 70s.
It was 76. I still think in 76, kids were calling each other worse than booger.
Yeah.
I just felt that the script was kind of
juvenile, if you
generic.
Perfect example is Stand By Me, where obviously they were all young actors at the time. They're playing kids their age, and they cuss raunchy with their language in that movie. So, and that's also Stephen King novella. Now, I don't know if he wrote the script for it or not. I don't know that.
I would say probably not.
But
I don't know either.
Kind of the similarities, because with that, Gordy in it narrates the whole thing.
Huh.
Richard Dreyfuss, I think, actually, is the one that narrates.
I would really like to know if this was his first script, because, he didn't write The Shining, and he hated The Shining, and I wonder if this was the next movie that came out, and that's why he wrote the script.
What about Carrie?
Well, Carrie, he didn't write.
He didn't do the script.
I don't know if he did the script, but that was 76.
No, he did not do the script for Carrie.
But that was pretty close to the book, right?
Yeah, super similar. The book is written, though, it goes back and forth between like news articles and magazine articles and book excerpts, and then like eyewitness accounts.
I've never read Carrie, but like
It's so good.
I'm interested. You saying like eyewitness accounts, that kind of sounds interesting to me.
Yeah, like they interview people that were there, like maybe some of the students at
at the gym.
Yes, so I would say it's pretty similar. There's a few things in the book that like they actually filmed for the movie, but they cut. So like the rocks coming down at the end into the house, like that plays a bigger part in the book. Now, they did a remake in like
13?
I don't know. Not the one.
2013.
This was a television remake, and Angela Batis played Carrie.
That's the one you're talking about.
That one is almost spot on, except for the ending. Because a lot of the movie is detectives talking to people that were at the prom and asking them questions.
I never saw. So there's 2 remakes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I never saw either of them.
The second one, like I said, it was it came on like ABC or something. So like the effects and stuff are like
Subpar.
not great. Hang on,
All of
I'm
that
trying to find some stuff.
So what? While he's looking, what is your?
I don't know if I'm ready to give my score yet.
What?
Well, fine. I guess I'm being pressured into it. I give it I hate it because I love a werewolf movie. I really, really do. I have to give it a 2. I didn't like it back then, and I really didn't like.
You got to think that I was watching this at like 12.
I don't know. And hiring Gary Busey is a choice, no matter what movie it is.
And see, honestly, I
That's
guess
the director though, and like he probably had nothing to do.
What you guys said, I do feel like that's Gary Busey in real life, and that's probably why he got the job.
So just quick update. It looks like he, his first original screenplay that he wrote was when he wrote Creepshow. Which Creepshow was more of like a collaboration, right? So let's not think about that one too much. But hang on, because there's a lot. First screenplay credit is Cat's Eye, 1985's Cat's Eye, and then Silver Bullet.
I've never seen Cat's Eye. Is that the one with Drew Barrymore?
Yeah, she's in it. I've never seen that either.
I haven't either. So
Here's my thing. Cat, no thank you. I'm done. Good.
Unless it's Sleepwalkers, I don't care.
Yeah. All right, so I'll be honest. Going into this, I didn't think I would like it as much as I did. So, and I already mentioned I kind of liked how it played out like a slasher, kind of like a whodunit. Because a lot of werewolf movies, you kind of know who the werewolves are from the get-go. Like, so, I don't know. There wasn't anything special about it. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, like, I feel the same way about it as I did Fright Night. Like, I didn't hate it, but I don't love it. Like, it's fine. So I'd give it a 3. Definitely a medium for me.
Were you young when you saw it the first time? Does it have a nostalgia thing for you?
I mean, sort of. That's what I was about to say. Like, I kind of feel, because we're talking about Gary Busey, and obviously when I was like younger, I didn't have any concept of like who he was or cared about him in general. But
as a 38-year adult, you know how nuts he is.
Yeah. Well, and as a kid watching it, I did love Corey Haim already. So like, he was more my like draw to it, I think.
Yeah.
So like, when I think about it like that, it makes sense for me. But like, so I mean, I guess sort of. But when I mean, that's why because I kind of went into it. I was like, am I going to give this like a 5? When I first started it, when I knew we were going to watch it, and I was like, I can't do that. Like, there's still stuff about it that I was like, not so much. Like it, but I do still enjoy it. So.
I still can't figure out how they had that big of a budget and the special effects weren't better. I just cannot wrap my head around it.
Especially 1985.
I really cannot.
Maybe just the production. I mean, because you watch it like the cinematography and stuff, it does look better than The Howling. Howling is a lot more gritty, like a little rougher around the edges.
But that still doesn't justify where the $7 million went, because they definitely didn't spend it on the cast. None of that cast probably got paid much. It was all in that wheelchair. It was on the wheelchair. It was on those fireworks and that bat.
Half the budget.
Yeah, and those fireworks ain't cheap.
No.
Even a Roman candle.
It just surprised me when I looked up the budget. I was like thinking it would be more in line with The Howling.
I mean, I would be curious to know, like, since Gary Busey obviously is like the biggest name in this movie.
Yeah.
What in 1985 he was paid to be.
I wonder what the budget was for now it makes me think.
Well, to be fair, this is before like he completely fell off his rocker.
Right. I mean, he was like a household name in 85. Like, people knew who Gary Busey was.
I wouldn't be surprised if he got a $2-3 million paycheck for this.
Oh, no. In 85? No. No fucking way. No.
Look, I don't know. I think we're spending too much time talking about this.
Well, see, here's the thing. This had the same budget that Fright Night did. And I feel like their special effects were better than this movie.
Well, again, maybe there's some stuff that we didn't see that got cut.
Do you own the special Blu-ray that came out in the last year?
Mm-mm. I do not. I only had it on DVD.
You really think Gary Busey got paid $3 million?
Maybe not. Maybe $1 million.
I don't even think he got paid $1 million. I would say $250,000 is probably what he got paid for this movie.
Huh.
Well, I mean, also, like, what, I don't know how this works as far as.
No, go ahead.
As far as, like, Stephen King himself. Like,
well,
how much did
That's
Rose...
what I was about to say, because, okay, this was one of his first screenplays, but
you still had to have
Carrie came out, and you got to think of all the movies that had come out before this that made him a household name. Carrie had already come out.
The Shining bombed.
Copies. Huh?
If you're talking, are you talking books or movies?
Both.
Well, The Shining bombed.
Well, but still, Shining. You've got Salem's Lot. That's a classic. That had already come out at this point. Like, he had several credits.
I just want, because I wonder how much they had to pay to get the rights to even do a Stephen King movie.
True.
Like, or his work of art, I guess. So I wonder if that's where the majority went. So if you think about it that way, the budget for the movie itself and the effects, I still don't know that it would have been less than The Howling. So you'd think that would have still looked better, right?
That's why I'm really baffled.
I mean, I know that we're like really analyzing
and I can cut all this out, but then I think about Rose and her book. She said she got paid how much for Scream?
Like $7,000.
And you think Gary Busey got $3 million in 1985?
No, maybe he only... I think maybe $1 million.
So it looks like Michael said, $7 million budget, but it didn't. I mean, it was $5.4 million in the States. It was only $12.4 million total as far as box office goes. But I still can't find out where anything about Gary Busey. Now, the book says it's a horror novella featuring illustrations by comic book artists. Each chapter is a short story unto itself.
Well, then I wonder, it says that the complete construction of the werewolf costume took 3 months. So So yeah, I don't see anything about how much he was paid. But it was shot in Wilmington, North Carolina. Okay. Guess who was considered for the role of Uncle Red?
Who?
No guesses?
Nope.
John Candy. And Jennifer Connelly was considered for the character of Jane, but she was in Italy filming Phenomena. Wouldn't that have been interesting? I love Jennifer Connelly.
Well, and I love John Candy, but I can't see him in a movie like this.
I don't know, y'all.
Well, he was also probably a lot more expensive to get than Gary Busey, especially in 1985.
True.
I agree with you there.
True. Well,
we have certainly analyzed it to death.
I'm sorry I don't have any answers for you, Michael, but if anybody out there listening knows how much Gary Busey got paid to be in Silver Bullet, we would love to know. So drop us a DM and tell us how much Gary Busey got paid. I do know that we were at a Monster Mania con not too long ago that Gary Busey got kicked out of because he was touching women inappropriately. So
I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
God. I mean, he was there for like 3 hours on a Friday and they kicked him out. So he was gone for the rest of the weekend, which is crazy. But anyway, we don't need to give him any more
airtime.
Thanks so much for joining us, y'all. If you like what you hear, please like, subscribe, and rate the Horror Fried Podcast and catch up on all our previous episodes on your favorite streaming service. Links are available on our Instagram page. Once again, we'd like to thank our friends, Brittany and Jesse of Danger Zone Video, for hosting Horror Fried Theater this season. Y'all can find them on Instagram at Danger Zone Video. Join us next time as we jump ahead 2 years to 1987. I'm very excited because one of my movies we're finally going to be watching. Actually, the next 3 movies that we watch are mine. So, it could be good or bad. But we'll be watching Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2. Mike, have you seen it?
Nope.
Oh, you are in for a treat. It's time for us to go make lemonade in our pants. Y'all have a great night.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
You guys are going to bed.
But Uncle Red, you said...
I know what I said. But it's 10 till 3 in the morning, and it's not coming.
The moon's not down yet.
Well, it's damn near down.